Transformers The Last Night was once directed, once again, by Michael Bay. This movie came out June 2017, and this movie recently does suck. I remember 3 years ago in 2017, I went to go see this movie with my cousins. When I walked out, I was like, this movie sucks. This is one ass of a movie. This movie is not good. What's wrong with this movie? Okay, let's get into it. So basically, in The Last Night, Optimus Prime returns home. Optimus Prime returns back to his home planet, Cybertron, and his whole entire planet is completely destroyed. Is completely destroyed, and he meets his creator named Quintessa. Sorry. He meets his creator named Quintessa, played by Gemma Chan, who recently mind controls Optimus Prime. He's on the search for something on Earth called the Staff of Merlin. And while that, Kay Jaeger is moved on while his daughter is recently in college, because we don't see his daughter anymore since she's in college now. Kay Jaeger is recently on his own now with the Autobots. He's doing superhero stuff, and this dying knight gives him this something called forgot what that thing is called, the talisman. Oh yeah, thank you. He gives him something called he gives Kay Jaeger something called the talisman, because he is well I'm not well because he is because a lot of people ask of who was the Last Knight, and that one is Kay Jaeger now, and I'm like, oh man, he's the Last Knight. He can't be. And Kay embarks on these adventures while Optimus Prime's on the search for something, is on the search for the staff, and Optimus Prime goes against his friends, fights against Bumblebee and all that kind of stuff. Quintessa tries to destroy Earth by bringing Cybertron back, and the Autobots and all the humans have to team up together to figure out how can they save Earth by destroying Quintessa and separating and saving Earth and all that kind of stuff by asking this question. Two worlds colliding, only one survives. Which survives, Earth or Cybertron? And that's the only issues with Transformers The Last Night. I wasn't familiar with The Last Night a little bit, but The Last Night is just really bad. It's just really trying to get on to this on and on and on. But this is easily one of the worst Transformers movies again. Does it again. Michael Bay makes the baddest Transformers movie of all times. And I didn't really like The Last Night was okay for me. You know, I enjoyed The Last Night. I enjoyed the adventure stuff. Everything in The Last Night didn't really bother me except for Optimus Prime. Turning evil, fighting against Bumblebee. There was one scene in the movie that I didn't really like. Optimus somehow, I'm Nemesis Prime, and he tells Bumblebee this: I'm Nemesis Prime, you are nothing. And Optimus recently just, because his eyes are purple, not red, but they're purple. Because I think Quintessa probably, I feel like Optimus is mostly brainwashed, or it's mostly just brainwashed. With this, which is my only issues with which is my only problems with this movie. And the only issues with this movie, we get Marky Mark back in this movie though, playing Kay Jaeger. Yeah, he was named Marky Mark back when he was young, and now he was Mark. You know, even though he's Mark Wahlberg, who named himself Marky Mark back probably when he was young, I'm like, okay, now I get the picture. So now Mark Wahlberg got a new hairstyle now, and also Mark Wahlberg, who's known as Kay Jaeger, who's doing some superhero stuff now. He has all these Cybertronian weapons now. Now he turns into an adventurer, into a badass guy who fights these Decepticons now, and which is my only problems with it. The only issues with the movie, the movie doesn't really is just doing the same thing as the other Transformers movies, because Michael Bay just keeps going and going and going and going and going, doing the same story that we've seen before in the other 4 Transformers films that just didn't really make any sense. The human characters that we saw in Age of Extinction are gone, except for Stanley Tucci and Mark Wahlberg. So Stanley Tucci plays now Merlin, the staff of who plays Merlin, the wizard, who's recently a drunk wizard mostly. Good. There's a scene in the movie where we go back to the Dark Ages of England where we get to see all the knights, horses, and in the other waves and all that kind of stuff and fights in the movie because that concentrates on them. And also, we did get a dragon, a really badass three-headed dragon named Dragonstorm, who's recently a badass Autobot. Because these knights, there were these knights from Cybertron. Because these are the knights from Cybertron. Because these knights transform into a to Dragonstorm, and Dragonstorm recently flies out of nowhere. And I'm like, so the knight's been around for so many years. And then 1600 years later, there's a scene in the movie where Optimus Prime is completely shut down, frozen, and floating in space. And that's and the only issues with the movie, mostly we do have Anthony Hopkins in the movie. I love Anthony Hopkins. He's really good in this movie. I really like his speech with about the Wibbegans. I like his speech about the Transformers, but I just don't blame him. I feel like Michael Bay is just setting up the Transformers from back in the past. Talking about rethink the past. Like, I feel like from the movie Bumblebee wasn't a setup. The movie Bumblebee was completely right because mostly Bumblebee plays it safe, but Michael Bay's Transformers movies does not play it safe because there's some bad jokes. There can be some dirty jokes sometimes in these movies. There can be some pee jokes, some there can be some pee jokes, some sex jokes. Those jokes have gotta go. Not because it's just gone way too far. Paramount Pictures had tried everything to be very careful of what Michael Bay has been doing with these Transformers films. And he is not doing really well with these movies. It's just a big disappointment of what Michael Bay has been doing. Um, Laura Haddock plays some kind of professor, philosopher, whatever she is. She plays Vivian Wembley, who is the only person who can save the world because she's. And then I think Anthony Hopkins says something about you're related to Merlin. I'm not related to Merlin. You serious? I'm related to Merlin. Serious? And I think she's the only one who can get the staff. When she touches the staff, because it's just a dirty stick. It's just some plain stick. But when she touched it, it's just a magical. It turns back into the magical staff after like 1600 years, way back in the past. Because all these Transformers that they're talking about, it's just set up. It's just a makeup thing. And also one of my favorite things I enjoyed about this movie, mostly Jared Carmichael, I find really hilarious. I think a lot of people say his character is so freaking annoying in this movie. I think a lot of people say that I think Leo is worse than Jimmy in this movie. I feel like because the human characters like Jimmy, he didn't really bother me. I really like him as a funny guy. He's really hilarious. He's so funny. Isabella Moner plays Izzy, who with a Z, who's recently named Isabella with a Z, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna call you Izzy instead. Instead of me calling her Isabella, I'm gonna call her Izzy, which would have been a better name because I'm just gonna call her Izzy. So Isabella Moner is really good. I feel like she turns into this badass teenage girl, and recently she has a she has an Autobot friend named Squeaks who recently says Chihuahua the entire time, which that kind of annoys me a little bit, but it is what it is. The baby Dinobots, I really love the baby Dinobots. They're so adorable. They're like pets to Kate Yeager and the other Transformers. And we get the Dinobots. Grimlock is hilarious, but we don't really see Grimlock in robot mode anymore. But we see him in dinosaur form. We don't really see the Dinobots a lot in this movie. We only see a little bit with the baby Dinobots. We only see a little bit with the baby Dinobots in this movie. We only see a little bit what's going on in this movie. And also, the characters that came back are Agent Simmons, General Morshowers, and Colonel Lennox. They came back to this movie. It's great to see them again. But the only issues with that Agent Simmons, that we don't really see a lot in this movie, which is my only problems with this movie. So basically, so now Agent Simmons lives in Cuba, where he's friends with this Autobot named Volleybot, which I don't understand why they call him Volleybot. I normally call him Volley Shot or Volley Spot would have been better. Volley Shot would have been a better Autobot name for him. Which I'm talking about the Autobot, not Agent Simmons. But it's great to see Agent Simmons back, but we don't really see him a lot, which is my only problem with this movie. And for Cardinal Lennox, it's great to see him again. It's great to see him have him back in the movie. Basically, he joins Kay Yeager, the TRF, joins Kay Yeager to save the world and all that kind of stuff. Because the TRF are these probably these government agents are after the Transformers that's recently alive. Like the Autobots or Decepticons, talking about they bad. No, they're not. But and also General Morshowers, like in the other Transformers movies, we don't see General Morshowers alive, which really doesn't really bother me anyway. I really like General Morshowers. He's not annoying. General Morshowers, he never ever bothers me at all. It's like me saying Jimmy, who's played by Jared Carmichael, his character never bothers me at all. None of these characters in this movie didn't really bother me all that much. They didn't really bother me at all. The only character I enjoyed a lot more, who's more funnier, is Cogman. Cogman, I find really funny in this movie. It's great to see Cogman, but my only issues with him, he's a human-sized transformer, and I'm like, dude, you're a human-sized robot that looks like C-3PO from Star Wars. Dude, Michael Bay, what are you doing? I mean, bro, what are you doing, Michael Bay? You turn you're making a transformer into a human-sized Autobot for no pair of reasons at all. What is going on with Michael Bay right now, guys? I mean, what is going... Wait, let me fix this. Anyway, whatever. So, what is going on? And also, that's my only issues with the movie, and my only issues... let's get into the good. The action sequences. All I care about was the action sequences. But my only issues with the movies... This is my biggest problem with the Transformers movies. Michael Bay just focuses more on humans. He likes to concentrate on humans. It's like, you watch the movie Godzilla, the 2014 version, that movie concentrates more on Godzilla. With these Transformers movies, concentrates more on Transformers. Not Transformers, it concentrates more on humans, which is my only problems. Because it's basically called Transformers. We don't concentrate on Transformers, we concentrate on humans. Way to go, Bay. But the only issue is we don't see Optimus Prime a lot, because Optimus is on Cybertron with his creator, Quintessa. Gemma Chan is really good as Quintessa. She's the really goodest villain in the entire movie. She's the main villain of the film. My only issues, and also Megatron, who's recently turned into this... Megatron is formed into this badass knight version of himself now, which... Well, he's not really a knight. He looks more like a knight, but he has a really nice axe. And he also, my favorite, there's one scene in the movie where he actually calls on his crew. He calls in Mohawk, Dreadbot, Nitro Zeus. He tried calling Berserker, but they said no. Now he calling Onslaught. And that was it. And Mohawk is really hilarious. I really want I feel like the Megatron crew, I feel like the Last Knight Megatron, the Last Knight Age of Extinction Optimus Prime should both be Studio Series figures. We don't know when those things coming out. Hopefully anytime soon. We just don't know when. Who knows? We gotta wait and see. And my only problems with this movie, I know what I just said. Optimus Prime fighting against Bumblebee, because Optimus has recently been brainwashed by Quintessa. I'm just really disappointed of why this movie has turned into a big disaster. This movie is just plain bad. I mean, what is going on? Michael Bay tried everything to make a better Transformers movie, but he tried. I'm just really upset and angry about The Last Knight. I'm not really upset with it. I'm just upset the way Michael Bay products and directs it. And when he actually puts the production in, he just writes because the writer's room just does the same thing from the other Transformers movies, which bothers me and other Transformers fans out there. Bumblebee plays it clean. Bumblebee is a cleaned up movie because it concentrates more on Bumblebee but also concentrates on Charlie and Bumblebee's relationship. And for the Transformers films, Transformers, I gotta say this, concentrates more on humans. The movie post is basically called Transformers, which means you're supposed to concentrate and focus more on Transformers. More on Transformers, less than humans. Because just like in the animated cartoon and the other cartoons and Transformers Prime, those TV shows concentrate more on Transformers. And what is Michael Bay doing? He's concentrating on humans over and over and over and over and over and over again. And we get the Autobots are back, and it's great to see Hound and Drift and Crosshairs be back in the film. It's great to see, and also my favorite. I feel like one of my favorite Transformers characters in this movie also is Day Trader, played by the actor who played Randall in Monsters Inc. named Steve. I forgot his last name. It starts with a B or a C. I haven't seen him in a while. He's really. I feel like Day Trader is really funny in this movie. I love Day Trader. Day Trader never bothers me. He didn't really bother me at all. Wheelie, it's great to see Wheelie back in the movie. It's great to see the baby Dinobots that are really adorable in this movie because they're pets though now. I think. We don't really see the Dinobots a lot. We do see Barricade. Barricade has an upgrade now, so Barricade transforms into some new some new robot mode, but he doesn't have the same exact voice from the first Transformers movie, where there's a scene in the movie where him and Bumblebee got into a big fight. See, so Barricade has like a regular voice. I feel like one of my issues with the last night, because also since Megatron is back, Megatron never explained of how did he actually turn back into of how Megatron turned back to his actual self, because he was Galvatron in Transformers: Age of Extinction. Um, but the movie never actually explained of why he actually turned back into Megatron, why Galvatron turned back into Megatron, which that never really happens in a Transformers cartoon or comic book or whatever. Because my only problems because basically this movie is a lot worse than Age of Extinction, because I feel like Age of Extinction is a little bit worse. Dark of the Moon was a little bit. Dark of the Moon was this close to being successful like the first movie, which that's a major plus. Revenge of the Fallen was completely the worst. The first movie was more successful. Was more successful than Dark of the Moon was. So I understand Dark of the Moon was almost this close, but mostly in this movie we did get some stripper. We get one stripper joke. We get one sexual. I think we get one sex joke. We get some really serious aspects that anybody does not understand. The action sequences are pretty much fun and exciting. The special effects are pretty good, but sometimes the action sequences that you don't understand of what's going on. With Bumblebee, you do know what the action sequence is on what's going on. With these movies, you don't understand what's going on. And I enjoy watching this is actually Michael Bay's one of the baddest Transformers movies I ever watched in my entire life. But Optimus Prime recently turning evil. Michael Bay wants to write that down. Hey, I got an idea, guys. Writers, let's write down of turning Optimus evil. Let me ask y'all a question. Let me ask y'all this. Or let me tell y'all this. Could you imagine Optimus Prime was the main villain in The Last Night. Imagine he was the main villain in The Last Night. How would I feel? How would we feel? We would feel really, really angry, pissed, and frustrated about it. Because this movie is ass. It's just bad. It's a bad movie full of bad moments. And also we did because the movie is recently set up. The Transformers are from the past, which I don't understand what that means. And I'm like, first of all, it's because Bumblebee actually didn't really set up, because Bumblebee took place on Cybertron to Earth, and that was it. Because Bumblebee was one of the best Transformers movies, because basically a lot of people say it's a prequel or a spinoff, but people say it's a reboot, and I find it more like a prequel. I find it more like a prequel or a reboot, more like a pre-boot. Or more like a prequel, that's all I gotta say. But the only thing that's interesting, really, really, really terrible, is I love Anthony Hopkins and Laura Haddock. I enjoy all these human characters in the movies. But I just wanted this movie to concentrate more on Transformers. The movie almost this close on concentrating on Transformers, but not even close. To concentrate more on Transformers. What I want this movie to actually do, what I want all the Transformers movies, I'm talking about all the Transformers movies, what I want all of them to do is focus more on Transformers. Like the first movie, for example, like take us back to Cybertron and see how the Autobots actually come to Earth. That never happened. Revenge of the Fallen. We want to focus more on Revenge of the Fallen. That never happened. Dark of the Moon. They try to focus on the moon landing stuff. A little bit. That they tried. But it was almost close though. This close. Age of Extinction. Age of Extinction did not look like Age of Extinction, which means human extinction or Transformers extinction. Nothing happened. Or just the dinosaurs extinction or something. The Last Night. It focuses on the last night, which is a plus, a little bit, but it doesn't focus. It didn't really focus on the question of what the movie should answer the question for. Who was the last night? Which planet collides, Earth or Cybertron? Because I feel like Cybertron never survived. Earth did survive in the movie, which is a plus. Because a lot of people say, I think Earth's going to die. I think Cybertron's going to die. I think Optimus Prime is the last night. I think Mark Wahlberg is the last night. I think Bumblebee could be the last night. I think one of the nights could be the last night. Because sometimes it's a little bit of questioning in this movie. Which is mildly problems with the film. But it's great to see Wheelie and the other Transformers in this movie. Because this is my last time actually reviewing a Transformers movie anyway. But I want all the Transformers movies to be fixed. Fixed and not being set up and made up because Michael Bay just makes the same stupid things over and over and over again. I just want him to focus more on Transformers. But he's just like, fans, first of all, leave me alone. I can focus on humans wherever I want in the Transformers movie. I don't need to focus on Transformers just because the movie's called Transformers. I can focus on humans whenever I want. So no, he can't do that. He needs to listen of what fans really want to see in a Transformers movie. And he tried. It's like saying Travis Knight did listen to fans of what fans want. Did he listen to the Transformers fans? Which I'm talking about Travis Knight. Yes, Travis Knight did listen to Transformers fans of what fans want. Because Travis Knight is a big Transformers fan. He grew up with G1. That's why he directed Bumblebee, which I'm so happy that Paramount Pictures invited him to direct. While Michael Bay produces the Transformers. Because Michael Bay was the producer of Bumblebee. Which, lucky he didn't mess it up. Thank God. And I'm really, really disappointed with this Transformers movie. I'm sure this movie, but I just want this movie to do better. This movie should do better than all of the stuff that Michael Bay is doing. Like let these Transformers movies do it their own way without Michael Bay giving commands to these Transformers movies on what they should do. First of all, focus on humans less than Transformers, please. No, more like focus on Transformers less than humans, and that's what I want. And that's all I gotta say for this movie review for Transformers The Last Night. That's all I know. Well, I just want everything to be fixed and back to normal in these Transformers movies. That's all I know. What I want it to be fixed. So I think that's all I gotta say for this movie review for Transformers The Last Night, which is basically my last time. I will be reviewing E.T. the Extraterrestrial maybe one of these days. I will be reviewing some other movies. I'll try to review some other movies I can find. And that's all I gotta say for this movie review for Transformers The Last Night. So be sure to like, subscribe, press the notification button, follow me on Instagram, and comment down below. And I'll see you on my next video. Thank you for watching.